What's up, YouTube? Titans Tim reacting to this news after several years of no content on YouTube. I'm going back to talk about this because this is just absolutely disgusting. It's terrible news. I am flabbergasted, and not because Mike Vrabel is gone. Yes, am I upset he's gone? Would I rather have Mike Vrabel? Of course. He's shown time and time again that he's a master motivator. He does have his problems, which I'll get into, but he is a master motivator and gets the most and squeezes the most out of everything he possibly can, out of every player that comes out of the street and comes off a free agency, off their couch. He gets everything he possibly can out of every player and master motivator for sure. The issue I have with Mike Vrabel leaving is that Mike Vrabel left for absolutely nothing. There was no return. I was expecting some sort of king's ransom, aka first round pick from New England, aka there's interest from New England and Chicago is a lot of the rumors I was hearing. So I was looking to say, okay, Chicago's got several picks. New England's got a top pick. Are they going to go and trade that top pick straight up for Vrabel? No. But are they going to go and trade that top pick and we add some draft picks, maybe our second round pick for Vrabel and their first round pick? That's quite a possibility, especially to the Bears who have picks to spare. We had so much leverage when it came to Mike Vrabel. We could have traded Mike Vrabel for a heck of a lot. King's ransom. You look at Sean Payton. Sean Payton went for, multiple big-time picks. And you're telling me that we just go and release Mike Vrabel for absolutely nothing. So we have a luxury. Okay, and if we want to move on from Mike Vrabel, that's fine. We've seen some problems with Mike Vrabel. We've seen that he's went with his guys, his coordinators that stink, that were within the organization, or that basically said, okay, Mr. Vrabel, I'll do what you say. So do I think Mike Vrabel has an ego? Absolutely. Do I think that's his downfall? Absolutely. Do I think he probably said stuff that he shouldn't have said to higher-ups? Looking at Mike Vrabel, seeing how he reacts to multiple situations, absolutely. I think he speaks his mind. I don't think he is a yes ma'am, yes man person. I think he's going to go, and if he doesn't agree with something, he's going to make it known and probably get into some arguments that he probably shouldn't have. But nonetheless, he's true to his beliefs. But the problem with Mike Vrabel is that, again, he sticks with his guys too often and too long. We saw it with Todd Downing. What a disaster that was. We even see it with some simple stuff. I love Ryan Tannehill for what he did for the organization over the years. But let's be honest, why are we starting Ryan Tannehill? Why was it a question with Levis? Why was that like pulling teeth? Why is Ryan Tannehill starting with, the last game or the game before the last game when you do have something like a Malik Willis? Why not see what the guy can do? We have seen it, of course, but why not give him more NFL exposure and experience to see if he can ever turn it around? What's there to gain at the last week of the season or the last 2 weeks of the season by starting Ryan Tannehill? I don't quite understand. So it seems like Vrabel, of course, always wanted to win, which I understand and respect. But at the same time, Mike Vrabel had a lot of issues in the regards of, especially the coordinators and the personnel issues. He didn't know how to hire coordinators. He obviously stuck with these coordinators too long, and the coordinators, aka Todd Downing, you see that kind of nonsense, and you see the crap that we have seen over the years. Also, letting Jim Schwartz go from our defensive side of things over to the Browns. Look what happened to the Browns now, #1 defense in the NFL. Jim Schwartz, that classic pose, if anyone watched the Titans-Browns game, of Jim Schwartz smiling as we got absolutely destroyed by the Browns and Myles Garrett went crazy. Yes, Vrabel has his issues, but he is a master motivator, and he gets and squeezes everything he possibly can out of everybody to the point of exhaustion, where people are literally, aka Jeffrey Simmons, limping out on the field, barely able to breathe, but still going out there because he is going to give it his all. So, yes, Mike Vrabel, of course, fantastic coach, fantastic motivator, terrible with personnel, terrible getting rid of his guys. Okay, you could say that. Also, probably got himself into hot water. Just an assumption here, but just thinking out loud to myself, probably did things he shouldn't have done. Probably didn't really care about the higher-ups or authorities, which didn't help him in this matter. So, the rumor is that, Amy kind of said, well, you got to get rid of everybody. The owner of the Titans says, get rid of some of these personnel. He said no, kind of similar to Malarkey situation. But let's be honest, we did need to get rid of some of these personnel. The coordinators were not so good. The special teams coordinator was obviously a mess. At least he got rid of that. But even the new guy coming in, there were some problems with Guerra or Garar or whatever his name is, his last name, where he muffs a punt. You see stuff like that over and over, the fundamentals where he's kind of stubborn. So that's another issue. So again, he's got some real high upside and some real low lows. But as a whole, as a coach, would any team in the NFL go and take Mike Vrabel? Absolutely. Would any team trade something to get Mike Vrabel with so many coach openings? Absolutely. Especially when you look at New England. It was a match made in heaven. So the issue is what happened with the Titans was they didn't want to wait. They didn't want to wait. They didn't want to wait and look at all these other head coaches get signed by other teams. They didn't want to wait for New England to possibly stick around or get rid of Bill Belichick and wait for that to possibly be a trade or a match made in heaven. But if I'm the Tennessee Titans, I am waiting and waiting and waiting. What's the worst case that happens? You get stuck with Mike Vrabel for another year? Yeah, you get stuck with Mike Vrabel, who's, let's be honest, Coach of the Year 2 years ago, one of the better coaches in the NFL for sure. Again, he has his issues, but I think the benefits outweigh the issues here. And if you are looking to go a different direction, I respect it. Again, I have no problem with it. If you're going to get rid of Vrabel, I could see why you would. I wouldn't recommend it. I would stick with him, but I could see why you would, because maybe he's too old school. Maybe he sticks with his personnel too often. Maybe he's, again, sticks stubborn and sticks what he wants to do. But if you're going to get rid of him, you better get a king's ransom for it, right? And you had the opportunity to get a king's ransom for it. I don't understand the rush. I don't understand we need to rush to sign the right person. It doesn't matter, let's be honest, of all these head coaches that are available. It's a crapshoot. It's like the draft. It literally is like the NFL draft. You could think that you have the greatest coach, but until they get on that field and start coaching, you'd have no idea. So why would you get rid of something that's certain? That you know you've got a very solid candidate, a very solid coach, for the chance of something that might be good, might not be good. The odds of this new coaching hire that comes in here that's going to be better than Vrabel overall, even given everything we've said about Vrabel, is very low. So you're now taking this very low chance that this new candidate that you are going to sign is going to be better than Vrabel as a whole. Very, very slim chance, and it's a huge gamble. Now, if you're going to go and make that gamble, you better maximize the return that you get for Vrabel in the form of draft picks, at least, to better than bolster the roster, then just let him go for nothing. Because if you let him go for nothing, all of the risk is on the table. You have literally put yourself at major risk. If you at least get multiple picks, then at least it minimizes the risk. So, hey, that hire that you replaced Vrabel with, he stunk. But at least you have those players and those draft capital and the draft picks to go and do something. There is a very good scenario in which the Titans could have traded Vrabel plus another pick to maybe move up in this year's draft to possibly get that big-time offensive lineman you want, or even Marvin Harrison Jr. to couple with the quarterback, of course, in Levis, that you may have something, you may not, you don't know. And I understand you might be saying the draft is also a crapshoot, just like the coaching scenario. Of course. But what you have now is a consistently solid coach, right? Solid coach with his flaws. He's still solid. He's still way above average. And instead of getting something in return to minimize that risk, you get absolutely nothing back. You get nothing back. And I understand you want to rush to do those interviews with the new coaches, but I think there's a much more of a crapshoot when it comes to these coaches. You could have the best coach on paper, but these coaches, I mean, how often do they pan out? Very, very rare. How often do you get a great, solid, even above average coach that you know you could win with very low, and you're getting rid of that for that very low chance that someone comes in here and does as good of a job or better of a job? It's very, very unlikely, and you get nothing back to protect yourself in the form of draft picks. And that is where I have the issue. I have people saying that Vrabel is, friends saying, oh my gosh, what a disaster. I said, look, I don't agree with getting rid of Vrabel, right? I would keep him. But if I had to get rid of him, you better get some good return. I'd be happy if they went and got and swapped first-round picks and got rid of Vrabel, but at least they got Marvin Harrison Jr. I'd rather take that risk. If you're going to get rid of him, you better get something back, okay? Because now you have no protection. Now you just got rid of him for absolutely nothing. You got rid of a luxury. It's like having a great star player on the last year of a contract, and instead of trading the player, you just release the player and get absolutely nothing back. And now, good luck finding a coach as good, So you have that problem, and now you have absolutely nothing to show for it either, which makes this move absolutely a disaster. What do you guys think? Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time.